many fascinating things we're seeing are individuals using tools like ChatGPT or Copilot, Claude, the main large language models to better understand other individuals' perspectives, how other individuals could think and feel, and enabling other people to better understand how they themselves think and feel.
Welcome to the Fountain of Vitality podcast. I'm your host, LaMont Leavitt. In a world overflowing with noise, confusion, and distraction, we're here to cut through the clutter and explore bold, unique paths to a longer, healthier, and more vibrant life. Through candid conversations with business leaders, wellness experts, industry pioneers, and innovators, we'll uncover insights to help you discover your own personalized, unique approach to thriving. Tune in, trust the compass of wisdom within, and find your fountain of vitality. Hello, my name is LaMont Leavitt, and welcome to the Fountain of Vitality podcast. Today we have with us Sam Keller. He's one of the San Francisco Bay Area's top AI instructors. He helps business leaders and their teams develop the mindset, skills, tools, and habits to engage AI as a strategic thought partner. He's already equipped over 1,000 professionals, including over 200 CEOs, to use AI faster, for faster, sharper decision-making. Thanks for being with us today, Sam. We're grateful to have you here. Tell us about how you got to where you're at today, before, as far as what led you to where you're at today, as far as creating the Gen AI Academy.
Yeah, you bet. It's a wild story in the sense that after working in the tech sector, it was in the beginning of 2023. My boy at that time was 12 years old, a little techie seventh grader who was doing lemonade stands in the central plaza of our town to earn enough money to get a mountain bike. But he discovered ChatGPT shortly after it came out, brought it to my attention. We went down the rabbit hole together, learning how to use it, and had the idea that he could go beyond lemonade stands to teach people in our neighborhood, in our community, about generative AI. So it started at the dining room table right over here, people buying tickets for $20 a piece, classes selling out again and again and again, tens of classes here. Then the little boy rented the boardroom at our local community center. Then we're in local businesses. I wound up working with some of those participants who were corporate execs, small business owners, engaging at a more strategic level. And then it has grown to where not only is there me and my now 14-year-old boy, but ex-Googlers and people that have built up their tech firms. We've got this whole wonderful team. And as you've mentioned, we've trained over 200 CEOs here in the Bay Area and around the country, all sorts of different industries, including CEOs of AI companies and in healthcare, just this year alone. So we have an extraordinary vantage point in terms of how they're grappling with and applying AI for themselves, their leadership teams, and their workforces.
Great. That's a fun story. I love it when things start small and all of a sudden it kind of takes off on you.
Yeah.
Love to hear a couple stories from you as far as CEOs, what they've done, or executives, and being empowered through AI, and then how they push that to their executive team and then to the rest of the staff to delegate and elevate all that knowledge and ability.
Yeah, got it. So one of the many fascinating things we're seeing are individuals using tools like ChatGPT or Copilot, Claude, the main large language models, to better understand other individuals' perspectives, how other individuals could think and feel, and enabling other people to better understand how they themselves think and feel. So here's an example. There's a CEO of a company that provides therapy for people with autism in many different states around the country, 1,500 employees. That CEO spent several hours creating his AI doppelganger. He iterated with ChatGPT to where he got to the point where what's known as a custom GPT, or in Copilot, it's an agent. But the point is, he got it to the point where he felt like, by and large, it simulated how he thinks and communicates about business issues. Then he made it available to his leadership team. And we were there for the meeting and the training when this happened. And we heard him let the leadership team know that, look, he doesn't have as much time to spend with each of them as he would like. That's just the nature of things.
Yeah.
Thereafter, he wanted them to use his AI doppelganger to get a sense of how he might think and feel about big, important strategic decisions. Now, he instructed them, don't make big decisions just on that, but please confer with it.
Reference it. Yeah.
You want to reference it. And very explicitly, before you do meet with me, please work through the issues with it. And in the months since that happened, he has reported a much higher caliber of interactions with members of his C-suite.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And let me say this too. Some of your listeners right now may be feeling like, oh, that sounds cool, but it sounds really futuristic, or how the heck would they get there? And let me encourage all these listeners, just start by going into ChatGPT or whatever large language model
or
you
Grok
use.
or whatever.
Grok, tell them this anecdote. Tell them that you would love to get to the point where you have a doppelganger of yourself, but you don't know how to get there. Start there.
Great. Good tip. One thing it's been fun as I've used different tools. It's been fun actually. The first time I asked questions, 2+ years ago, I've learned that, boy, if I get even more specific and give it more parameters to take into consideration, it'll give you even better answers. Don't make it guess what you're thinking. Give it a good paragraph prompt of, how do I solve this particular problem under this scenario with these limiting factors or whatever it is. And it really does a much better job of getting in your head of what you're trying to solve.
Yeah, exactly. And along those lines, where we're working with the CEOs and the leadership teams and broader workforces is getting to the point where it's what you just said, plus the fact that it will have files uploaded about the relevant individuals. So their LinkedIn profiles, their CVs, their job descriptions, files about the company, the industry, so that above and beyond what it has in its training data or what it could find online, there's all that information that it can reference every time it chats with you.
That's great.
So
yeah.
You get those things built. It can take 20 minutes. It's straightforward for anybody who knows how to use a keyboard. This is ultimately really straightforward, but then it's built and specialized and drives much more value.
So that's at the executive level. Once you get the other executives on board, what's some strategies you've seen to push that down into the rest of the organization and getting them using the tools in a uniform kind of way to where the whole team's cross-collaboratively working together?
Yeah. One of the things that I find fascinating and effective is that as we go down in the organizations below, say, the C-suite in the leadership team, there's typically a dynamic where some of those individuals who are showing up to a mandatory AI training, and we see in the AI self-assessments that they complete beforehand that they may feel threatened, they may feel intimidated, they may feel like, this is not so good for them and their positions. They come into it, and when we can get them to see and believe that regardless of what their current job is, whatever their deepest aspirations are for what they would like to in their life while they're alive and healthy, what they would like to do and achieve and become and contribute and experience, if we can get them to really buy into the notion that this AI stuff, these skills can help them to make those aspirations their reality in a more likely, quick fashion, that's how we get them enrolled. That's how we find them motivated to pay attention, right? We had to find it through trial and error. But basically the idea of like, hey, we're going to do this training and you're going to become so much more efficient and you're going to save so much more time and be way more productive.
And you're going to like it.
Oh, you're going to like it. It's like, that wasn't fully doing it. Even if we said like, oh, it's going to be not artificial intelligence, but additional intelligence for you, and you're going to be able to think and make much better decisions. That fully wasn't doing it. But when we really get people to be like, oh, You mean not only this will be helpful in my job, but like my deepest aspirations for what I want to do while I'm alive and healthy, like it can help me. And then they see that hands on. They see it. Like, we don't have to just use rhetoric. Within 20 minutes, they're like, "Oh my God, I see what you're talking about."
Yeah, what I've loved is to see the employees in our own organization become excited about it. There's initial fear of, oh, this is going to take my job. This is going to whatever. If they start engaging with the right tools that helps remove a lot of the monotonous nature of tasks that they have to do and leverage it, they get more excited because there's less of this stuff, the stuff that's manual, that's scripted, that I do this, then I do this, then I do this. If you can take a lot of that and bundle that up and have a machine doing that for you, now as an employee, it opens you up to have a little more bandwidth to do all those things you've been wanting to do that might take
Yeah,
some figure out, but you can really let your creative juices run even better.
exactly. And it can free you up to do the kind of stuff that the AI can't do.
Yeah.
So the AI, in terms of interpersonal communication and the empathy, like, right? It's not there. But fascinatingly, if that's a word,
Yeah.
what we are seeing is that the AI is helping people understand each other better and work together better. So, in many companies, folks will do DISC profiles and Clifton Strength Finders and Enneagram, all these different personality assessments, right? But it is hard to look at someone else's, look at yours, analyze and compare them both, and really understand how you and some other individual, whether it's your colleague or your spouse or anyone else, how you are really similar and how you're different and what that means. But we are seeing it again and again where the AI analyzes that information and helps bridge gaps between people. In some cases, it's people that have worked together for 20 plus years. Now, all of a sudden, the lights go on and they're like, "Oh my God, now I can understand why they think and communicate and feel the way they do, because the AI has helped bridge the gap."
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a fascinating time to be alive. Well, what's another one or two stories you can share with us besides the previous one you talked about? Where
Oh
you've had
man.
some fun growth experiences with people.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. One that I think is fascinating. This is in the pharmacovigilance space.
Okay.
So it's a consulting firm that helps identify side effects for drugs,
Okay.
but it can be broadly applicable. But basically, they had a client that was disgruntled, though they didn't believe it was warranted, and didn't want to pay their invoice. So they had ChatGPT adopt the perspective of that client, and they worked through with that version of ChatGPT
Uh-huh.
acting as the client. What would the client be concerned about? And what would they say to this? What would they say to that? What about this? They worked it all through with the AI avatar of the client. Then they had the call with the client. They successfully anticipated every question and concern that
Back.
had, and they got the client right after the call to pay the invoice.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good.
Right?
So using as far as AI helping people make money, what are some successes you've seen? Because one of the questions I hear all the time is, okay, so what's your ROI and how do you measure it for what you accomplish? What are some anecdotal stories you've seen in that space?
Yeah. So we've seen a firm that saw an RFP, right, a request from proposals from a major retail chain. Think like Walmart, bigger player than that they had ever worked with, an outfit that typically buys equipment from much larger players. But they, having these skills, they created multiple AI agents to go after it. So they had one that helped them understand that retail chain's business so that they could operate with expertise for that sector. They had another one whereby it was public information who the main decision maker was for the procurement process. It simulated that individual's views so that before they submitted anything, they ran it by that agent.
Perfect.
Asking, how would this land with you? What questions? They iterated until it really worked well with the AI avatar of the person. They had another one that was uploaded with the company's best performing proposals historically. And it had ensured that everything they developed and submitted had all the elements that were found across the board in the best performing proposals historically. So on and on like that, they used this team of AI agents. And in ChatGPT, it's very simple. You just type the @ symbol, and these whatever ones you've built pop up. And so they would just pull them in like that, working with a team of AI agents. And they ultimately won the competitive bid process. Largest client in the company's history, and a major boost to revenues.
How long did it from start to finish? How long? What was the development time frame for them to develop those few agents and the attack on their attack plan to go from RFP to land the deal? What was the whole process, the development time, and also
the agents and what are known as custom GPTs in GPT, they were built in a single day. So
1 day in the development, okay.
Yeah, 1 day development. It can sound so far-fetched or whatever, but like you then realize that like, oh, this is way more straightforward than you think. So a single day, and then it was a 3-week process for them to submit everything for the RFP.
Nice. So,
but not full time. It was just placed over a 3-week period.
Yeah, and then that's awesome. That's great. What share with me, if you would, any downfalls? What are some things to avoid, things that people made mistakes with AI? I've heard of a variety of stories, but that creates that fear of, oh no, I shouldn't even touch it at all because this bad thing might happen.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I'm going to not comment on the things that I think you listeners may already be familiar with. It like, oh my God, it hallucinated or it was inaccurate. Right?
Hallucinations,
that stuff that I think most people are already familiar with. But one thing we're witnessing is that when CEOs extend this to their leadership team, and then even down further, it can arise whereby those individuals build these specialized AI tools and they share them. And then it can arise where it's like, wait a second, it seems like we've got multiple versions of this. Which one should I use? And wait, who is the administrator of this AI agent? Like, who's keeping it up to date? And is this one still up to date, or does it need to be retired? And what does this one do? Like, what's the naming convention? Like, based on what these things are called, I can't really figure out what it's done. So that gets into a governance system.
Governance and maintenance issues.
Governance and maintenance is not always nailed by these companies, because you can open, not Pandora's box, but you can catalyze all this, and then you can find it be a little messy if you don't have the right sort of governance system. Likewise with AI policies, there's some companies that unleash this, so to speak, but they haven't really thought through or put in place the kind of AI policy that establishes the guardrails of what's permissible and what's not. So you can have instances where, man, I didn't know that I couldn't or that I shouldn't upload client data. Like, I wasn't aware. Like, oh, I'm sorry. So it's important to get those guardrails in place, because counterintuitively, that's what unlocks the creativity. Once those are in place, people are like, okay, I know what I'm not supposed to do. But apart from that, man, we're off to the races.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest risk that I've seen so far, is when people upload all their customer data or their company secrets, and it's just out there for the whole world, and they don't know how to put the guardrails around it. So any guidance you can give on guardrail control and governance? Because I think CEOs worry about that, protecting that.
Amen. Across the board, everyone we've worked with has the very understandable and prudent concern about data security and privacy. And let me share this in the hope that it's useful to everybody who's listening. When staff are using a free or a personal consumer account, it's by and large contingent upon them as an individual to go in there and have the right settings so that they're not inadvertently training the model for the broader public and consumers. So what's key is for a company to have a business license, and ensure that the terms of service make it such that anybody who's got a seat, anybody who's a user within that workspace, it will automatically be such that no matter what they do and what they upload, it will not be used to train the AI model for the broader public.
Perfect. That keeps the So when people start out, they're all using the free stuff. So I think what's important is to rein that in. So
Yeah.
from a monitoring standpoint, at the executive level, what would you any recommendations you'd give on monitoring what they're doing as far as making sure they're not using their free accounts and they're using the corporate ones? And what have you found works best?
Well, what we're finding is companies putting in place ultimately an AI policy stipulating that when you're engaging with AI tools like ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot for work-related topics, that you're using the corporate account,
Perfect.
that
Okay.
you're not using your personal account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. It's what's been fun over the last few years as I've watched, all the leapfrogging between, ChatGPT and Grok and Claude, and then all the other spin-offs that are more specialized AI tools. It's been fun to actually see all the movement. And I think the most important thing as an executive is don't wait to move forward from an execution standpoint. Too many of them are kind of, I'm going to wait and see if this comes out this better. I'm going to wait and see if this comes. You got to just jump in, and execution at some point with the guardrails in place is more important than waiting for the perfect mousetrap to be made.
Amen. An analogy I would use here is it's almost like when you make an investment that could compound, like compounding interest.
Yeah.
Just imagine now that we have an extremely high interest rate, such that if you wait, you're really losing out on the compounding.
Yeah.
And when it comes to CEOs, we are seeing again and again CEOs that haven't yet had the personal experience on their own laptop of how powerful this can be. And one way or the other, it's helpful when they experience it firsthand and they see like, oh, holy cow, I get it now. Now I've got to extend this to my leadership team, and I see how powerful it can be.
Yeah, I think it's really important. Executives, don't be afraid, like you say, to get their hands dirty, learn how it works, try a few things, and it'll open up your mind. I mean, you've gotten your company to where it's at today. Now, when you become exposed to these tools, it'll open up your mind as to what you can actually accomplish, and you can start to imagine, what can my marketing team or my sales team do?
Yeah,
What can my operational team do? And the finance side, just the same. So,
and I'll tell you what, we've worked with CEOs. The head of a law firm was in his 80s, head of a bank, older gentlemen, not always older gentlemen, but or individuals, but in some cases, and they may not really use computers that much. And good on them, man. They've been having these careers where they don't really need to. But we can still bring them into the world of AI through voice only interactions where they learn how to talk and hear back, have audio conversations with AIs that really understand them, their background, their role, their company, their industry, and it becomes a strategic thought partner in that way.
That's a good tip. So let's say we run across an executive that's say 65 or 70, and he's always never had a computer on his desk, and he knows that it's important, but isn't sure how to go about it. Doesn't want to become an computer expert. For that particular individual, what's a good you probably have the tech guy at his company come help him get set up, but what would be the voice AI you'd use? Would you use DeepGram or something else, or for that kind of individual?
Well, just today we did this with the leadership team of a lumber company here in Northern California, and we had everybody out on the lawn by the water talking with the voice mode in ChatGPT.
Okay.
So everybody had selected their voice, male, female, what accent, and now everybody's talking with it. Then when everybody came back into the meeting room and got on their laptops, they see that, okay, it wasn't recorded, but it was instantly transcribed. And now either they or their assistant could say, okay, take that transcript and put it into an email or a thought leadership piece or the content for a presentation. So that's what comes to mind in terms of how those types of individuals can still really get a lot of benefit from and drive a lot of value from AI.
Awesome. Oh, that's exciting time to be alive, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you what, we are seeing again and again and again, whether it's the CEOs or leadership team members, having the concern about like, how do I stay on top of this? Like, this is changing so fast, day to day, week to week. How do I stay on top of this? What do you suggest? And there are various ways to do so. But what I would really encourage the leaders or the listeners to do, whatever tool you're using, Claude, ChatGPT, ask it each day at a particular time to update you on key changes that have happened for that tool in the previous 24 hours and how those changes are significant to you as an individual in your role. What are the takeaways for you, so that you're not just getting a bunch of headlines where you got to like sift through it and be like, God, what does all this mean for me? The AI is looking at what has changed and how it is relevant for you. That's where individuals have got to get.
That's perfect. So basically, you're building your own custom newsletter for what you really need to know from all the news and all the changes.
Or whatever tool it is that you use, how has it changed? How can you start getting value from those updates?
Instead of going down some rabbit hole of some newsletter guy that's trying to push his latest newsletter or stock tips on you. You basically,
in some shotgun fashion. This is not a shotgun.
No.
This is like a rifle scope, just for you, so to speak.
Yeah, it's for you. It's perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, if people want to get a hold of you and what you're doing at Gen AI, give us your website and how they could reach you if they have more questions or want training for that matter.
Yeah, you bet. So the Gen AI Academy's website is genaiacademy.ai. And I'm Sam at genaiacademy.ai. You can find me on LinkedIn. And sure, we'd be delighted to explore either in-person or remote-based training for your listeners.
Great. Hey, thank you so much for your time today. It was great talking with you, and it's exciting to see where this world's going to be going over the next year or two. But if you haven't already, jump in, get started, do something. Don't fear change.
Amen. Amen.
Thanks again. Thank you for tuning in to the Fountain of Vitality podcast. Head to fountainofvitality.com for more episodes, insights, and resources. Remember, your health is yours to own. Take charge, focus on what you can control, and keep exploring what works for you. Always be your best self, lift others, and trust the compass of wisdom. Until next time, stay vibrant and take care.